Hi, it's me. Number 10. Lost Civilizations Beneath Antarctica. Antarctica is one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. The continent is basically just a giant iceberg. It has never been warm enough to support life as we know it. At least that's what scientists tell us. But what if there was evidence that there were people living in Antarctica long before it became an icy wasteland? In 2016, researchers from the University of Southampton used radar to peer beneath the ice sheet and found something incredible. They discovered vast networks of caverns hidden beneath the surface, huge rooms filled with what could be ancient alien technology. Some of these caverns are so large that they have their own underground lakes. One of the caverns is even 300 meters wide. To put that into perspective, that's about the same width as the Great Wall of China, but that's not all. Researchers also found strange formations inside some of the caverns that appear to be man-made. Some of them look like buildings, others look like roads or tunnels, and some look like gigantic geometric patterns that were created with an incredible amount of precision. We don't know exactly what these structures are, but it is hard to imagine that they could have been created by anything other than an advanced civilization. And it's not the only evidence of a lost civilization in Antarctica. In 2019, researchers from the University of Texas used radar to scan a different part of the continent, and they found something similar, a massive cavern filled with strange structures. This one was even bigger than the first, stretching for over 40 kilometers beneath the ice. But how could there have been a civilization in Antarctica? How did they build these structures? And most importantly, where are they now? Well, according to some experts, the answer to all of these questions lies in the continent's past. Number 9. When Antarctica was warm, millions of years ago, Antarctica wasn't covered in ice. In fact, it was much warmer than it is today. Back then, the continent was part of a supercontinent called Gondwana. Gondwana was surrounded by a warm ocean current that kept it at a comfortable temperature. This allowed plants and animals to thrive. There were forests everywhere, and the continent was home to all sorts of dinosaurs, including some species that are still around today. But Gondwana wasn't just a paradise for dinosaurs. It was also home to a civilization of highly intelligent beings. These beings were the ancestors of modern humans, and they lived in Antarctica for thousands of years. They built great cities and developed advanced technologies. They had access to incredible sources of energy, and they may have even been visited by extraterrestrials. This is all speculation. Of course, there's no concrete evidence that any of this ever happened. But it's possible that these beings left behind the structures that we're seeing today. Maybe they built these caverns and tunnels to protect themselves from the harsh environment outside. Or maybe they created them as part of some kind of experiment. We just don't know. What we do know is that eventually Gondwana broke apart and Antarctica became isolated. The warm ocean current disappeared and the continent was plunged into darkness. The native species were wiped out and Antarctica became the barren wasteland we know today. Whatever happened to the civilization that once thrived here, their legacy lives on in the form of their incredible structures. If we can decipher the secrets of these caverns and tunnels, we may learn all sorts of things about Antarctica's lost past and the civilizations that once lived here. Number 8. Evidence of an advanced past. There is other evidence that points to a more advanced past in Antarctica. For example, there are strange rock formations that resemble structures that we built today. There are also mysterious symbols that have been found carved into rocks. And there are even rumors of ancient artifacts that have been discovered, such as tools, weapons, and jewelry. Of course, none of this has been officially confirmed, but it's interesting to consider the possibility that Antarctica could have been home to a lost civilization. What's even more interesting is that many of these discoveries have been made by amateur explorers who have been ridiculed by the scientific community. Take, for example, the recent discovery of a mysterious metal monolith that was half buried in the ice. This discovery was made by a team of scientists, but they didn't seem to know what to make of it. They couldn't figure out where it came from or how it got there. And they certainly didn't want to believe that it was left behind by an ancient civilization. Instead, they claimed that it was nothing more than a natural formation. But the truth is, we simply don't know everything there is to know about Antarctica. There is still so much of the continent that is unexplored that it is entirely possible that we lines find even more evidence of a lost civilization in the years to come. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my channel for more videos on the mysteries of ancient civilizations.